Ahoy! Welcome to part 2 of this little two-part doodad. So today I'm going from Oxwich Bay to Dale, which is in Milford Haven. And as I sort of alluded to last week, at times on this trip I've really struggled with actually setting off, and you'll see a little bit of it in this video because I ended up here for 3 days instead of overnight. I sort of create these barriers in my own head as to setting off, sort of thing, and I'll assess every little bit of what I need to do in order to go, and then something will prevent me from going, and it's something I've had to sort of try and overcome and struggle with. I haven't really spoken about this on here, but sort of 2018, I started suffering from depression pretty bad, and I'm already itching. I don't like talking about it. And it got pretty bad. I didn't speak to anybody, didn't do anything. I was a HGV driver at the time. The DVLA took my license. I lost my license, lost my job, lost my house. It worked out all right because a roundabout way it brought me here, sort of thing. So that's something that I need to keep an eye on, and I have learnt now to speak to people. That is something that I never did because I didn't want to burden them, and that is why I'm very, very happy when BetterHelp reached out to me to be a paid partner in these videos. BetterHelp connects you with a therapist online who are trained to listen and give you unbiased advice, and I've actually been using that over the past couple of months because they gave me a voucher to use, and it's helped so much. So in this video that you're about to watch, I'm still in the throes of my failure to launch, but I seem to have managed to overcome now that by speaking to somebody about it and sort of assessing why that is and stuff like that. So it's actually been fantastic. So how do you use it? First, you go to their site, betterhelp.com/the bumbling sailor. You will get a little questionnaire type thing and find out who's the right sort of person for you to speak to, and then you'll usually get matched up with a therapist within 48 hours most of the time. And then it's super easy to schedule an appointment. You can just do that online. You go ahead, book your appointment, and then you can speak to people either on the phone, via messaging, or via video chat, which is super, super great. And that's that. So if that's something you're interested in, that's something that sounds good to you, go ahead and go to betterhelp.com/the bumbling sailor, or choose my name when you sign up, and that's all good. Thank you very much, BetterHelp. Let's get down to the video. It's not bad, is it? It's the following day, as you can tell. No wind. No wind for the next several days, so don't know what I'm going to do. I think I might try and get to Milford Haven to Dale. Then see what happens. A few little jobs to do this morning. I've been up an hour or two. Top up the fuel for one. Transfer some data around off the cameras and stuff, and then get going. I'll hoist a sail at anchor. I'll drive with the main up today. See if we can. There is a bit of wind on the water out there, I think, beyond the headland, but we'll see. You can't go anywhere until about midday, which is high tide. Catch the tide out of the channel. And then when we get to Milford Haven, interestingly, I'll start wanting to depart at low tide because the tide moves up the Irish Sea. So, which works in my favour because the low tides are a lot earlier in the morning, which will give me more driving time. That's the plan. Aim for Dale, see where we get to. It might actually be dark when we get there, so I might be anchoring in the dark in what could be a busy anchorage on a Saturday, so I'll see how I feel. Yeah, See you in a bit. The keen-eyed amongst you may well notice that it's sunset and I'm still in the same place. I'm having real trouble at the minute with actually setting off places and going. I was all set up, ready to go at 11 o'clock this morning, had everything sorted, and then just didn't go. But there is a bit of rhyme and reason to it. It's that if I go overnight tonight, I've actually got some northerly wind, which means I don't need to use fuel, which means I'll have some fuel left if I need to get to Pecheli or straight to Conway, because I don't have enough fuel on board to get all that way, and the only places I can get fuel are Milford Haven if I go all the way up into a marina, or Pecheli or Conway. So the more sailing I can do, the better. So the plan is to get to Milford Haven overnight tonight, sleep during the day, watch the England match at night, set off early in the morning, by which time there are easterlies, which means I should be able to get all the way up the Irish Sea. But naturally the forecast will all change, because it does, and the wind will be exactly where I want to go to. But yeah, that's the new revised plan. So I'll get the anchor light up when the sun goes down, get a couple more hours sleep, and then hopefully have the bottle to set off at about midnight. So we'll see. You may notice it's daytime. It was foggy last night when I got up, so I didn't bother. I'm going to hoist the sail at anchor. The engine's warmed up, but I'm hoping to just sail off anchor. We'll see. The wind will blow me that way, so I've got loads and loads of time. Yeah, that's the plan. It's light winds, hopefully I'll be able to sail there, but we'll see. Right, time to get this sail up, I suppose. I want a windlass on the next boat. Oh, God. The wind would die as soon as I knock the engine off and try and sail off. I'm trying. We'll see what happens. Jibe. Hopefully we'll get going. Yeah, I'm just sat here completely stationary. Oh, it was a nice idea. I'd quite like to have sailed off anchor, but unfortunately the iron wind to at least get me around this headland and see if there's any wind out there. So yeah. Ignore the silly hat. It's to keep the sun off my bonds and my neck. It's got a dangly necky bit. Oxwich Bay is just around that corner there. Beautiful Welsh coastline, and we're heading along all the way over yonder to Milford Haven in theory, but we'll see how we go. Depending on how I feel, I might actually just carry on and sail all the way to Conway. If the wind's supposed to fill in from the east, so if it does, I've actually got a beam reach all the way to Conway. So, or I might pull into Milford Haven to Dale so that I've got internet to watch England tonight. We'll see how I feel. I'm on pot watch. I've noticed a couple of little pots around. You probably won't see them, but so keeping a good lookout. A few boats on the horizon. There's this chap over here coming past me, wherever he's gone. This camera's terrible. I've got a speedboat over there as well, and one over there, and one over there. So it's keeping my eye out. I'll come back when there's something to report. I've got the main up. I should really be flying a downwards facing cone. But I'm basically not. I can't be bothered going getting it and pouring it up. It's not that relevant really. I should do actually, but we'll see. So I'm just about to come past the East Helwick Cardinal Buoy, which is just there. So that marks the East Helwick Bank, which is obviously to the west of the east marker, which at low tide, lowest astronomical tide chart datum, is only 4 meters. So this is more for big shipping, because at 4 meters, even at the lowest tide, I can get over that. So it's not important for me in any sort of navigational way, although there could be some rough water there if it was a fast running tide. But I'm getting close to it because I want to just have a look at what the tide's doing on it. So in theory now we should be coming up to about slack water-ish, which appears to be right, because I don't know if I'll be able to zoom in on it, but there's very, very little tide running past that. I don't know if I managed to zoom in on that or not, but there's very little tide running past it. So now we're going to catch the tide going the other way, and be golden. I'm actually going to cut inside the East Helwick Bank, just because I can. But yeah, I've basically got an 8 or 10 metre tide, I think it is. So there's 12 to 14 metres underneath the keel when I go over it, which is fine. Yeah. Epic Welsh coastline. I do love Wales. In a previous job when I was a HGV driver for 2 different companies, I used to have a route around Wales. I just loved it. One of the jobs I used to start at 4 AM, so I'd be in winter driving through Wales, going all the way down to like Dolgellau and Machynlleth, at like 5 AM in the morning in winter. Ice cold, clear skies. I used to have to pull over just to look at the stars. It was incredible. Switch all the lights off on the van. Yeah, good stuff. Right, this is saying that I will get there at 8:15, which is 15 minutes after kickoff. However, that's at my current speed, which is 4.7 knots. But I expect my speed to increase over the next 6 hours because I'm going to have an ebbing tide out of the Bristol Channel. So that's why I fought a little bit of tide now to get the full 6 hours of the ebb, and then I'll catch probably an hour of the flood later, which will push me up into Milford Haven. If all goes well, if that's the plan works out. I've now changed heading and the wind is still on the nose. That means that I'm making my own wind. There's basically no wind and I'm driving into it, so no sailing for me today, or not yet anyway. Hope it might fill in later. But I have enough fuel to get to Milford Haven, and I think I have enough fuel to get to Pwllheli. I've probably got enough to get all the way to Conway, to be fair, but probably ain't good enough, is it? So basically, if I can leave Milford Haven and sail a chunk of the way tomorrow, I know I'm golden. If the weather changes and it doesn't look like I'll be able to sail in the forecast, then I can either go into a marina in Milford Haven and refuel, or set off and go to Pwllheli. But in all honesty, between us, I'm in my overdraft again, which means that I don't have the money to pay for a night in Pwllheli. But obviously I'll have to ring up and borrow some money if I need to go in. I'm not going to compromise, I'll have to go in. So yeah, nice day to be on the water. A little bit of haze and gloom, but at least there's not much sun and I'm not baking. Got my solar panel out. Thank you very much, Tim, from Mobile Solar Chargers. Fantastic. So the reason I plugged all that in, because I thought I was going to sail, that will actually give me enough power to use the autopilot under sail, tiller pilot, if needs be. But obviously the engine's running, so I've got all the power anyway, which is why everything's plugged in. I'm making sure everything's charged. Not much to report. Just gonna plod on. Same old, same old. Thought I'd come down and get something to eat, because I haven't actually eaten yet today. I just recalled. Yeah, I've not really talked about provisioning, but this is my food cupboard. Basically tins of stuff and rice, and these are the best friends. Yeah, grab these, breakfast, done. I'm cognizant of my amount of water that I've got left. I need to keep an eye on that. I've got this plus a couple of 2 litre bottles, emergency ones. Not really much else to say. I don't know if you've ever seen the programme, The Good Place, with Kirsten Bell. I watched it years ago and thought it was fantastic. I downloaded all that last night, so I'm going to go and sit and watch that on my phone, I think. Kill some time. Still saying that I'll be there at 8:45, so I'll probably be able to get phone reception around the Milford Haven area anyway, so I'll be able to watch the match on my phone or on the iPad. Yeah, I look ridiculous in this hat, don't I? But, you know, needs must. There's not much else to show you. I wasn't prepared for just how boring it is. Literally just sat here now for 8 hours, nothing to do. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't want it to get all exciting. Yeah. Ahoy! Just settling in. I'm making some tea outside. Well, some dinner. Need to turn that down a bit. Yeah, I'm going to have chili con carne, rice and some bread. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeehaw! A Christmas miracle has occurred. It's not even Christmas, I know, but some wind has happened. We're doing a sailings. We're still doing around 5 knots, which is what we were doing under engine, so boom, that'll do nicely. I've got the solar on, so I can leave the tiller pilot on for a little bit. Hopefully it stays like this and we'll get all the way there. Yeah, it's a grand life. Champagne. I am about as tight to the wind as I can get, and it looks like we're about on the right course, so all good. Right. Just sit here now. I have a pod of dolphins. You won't be able to see them. They're maybe 200 meters away, but I just keep seeing the heads bob out. Don't know why I'm pointing the camera there, because like I said, you won't see them, but I'll keep my eye on it. Hopefully they'll come and say hello. That'd be quite nice. Anyway, yeah, doing 5-ish knots, which is what we were doing before. The wind is coming from this direction here, so I'm keeping as close to it as I can to try and get around this headland. Once I'm around this point, I can bear away a little bit, and I'll probably get some more speed and get through this area. But basically, I'm going to be turning away from the wind because it's down here, which is good. It makes a nice change. I'm usually turning into the wind. So fingers crossed, everything stays as it is. It'll be nice and bonny. I don't even know if you can see that. Yeah, that's the stuff we're doing. The next video may be a video of dolphins. It may be a video of me being forlorn. Yet again, the wind giveth and the wind taketh away. Rudder felt a bit weird then. We're down to 2.5 knots. I'm trying to sort of poke my nose up and get a better angle on the wind if I can, but still not really gaining anything, and I'm pointing in the wrong direction. So it was a nice 20 minutes or half an hour. Alas, the iron wind is going to come back on. Might just give it another 10 minutes, see what it does. Oh yeah, I'm full on. There were no dolphins. I'll turn that way, then I'm not a silhouette. Yeah, it's been a nice day apart from having to motor with a nice little sail for a little bit. Been pooped by the wind again. I didn't win the lottery last night as I was hoping, so I've not been able to go and buy a Nordhavn 41 today, so just have to put up with the wind for a little bit. Wow. Hey dudes! Mind the front of my boat, you get hurt. Oh yeah. Someone's got a funny white thing on his head. Come on, together. Like a white spot on him. Wow! Wow! You're my favourite. Do something fantastic again. Oh, and they're gone. Wow. Well, that was pretty special. Oh, they're over there. Not a bad day, is it? So the dolphins were fun, weren't they? Just cruising now into the sun. It is absolutely glorious day. Not enough wind to sail yet, or not in the right place. I think when I turn the corner up here, maybe I'll be able to sail into Dale. It's getting me there at 2017, which means I'm going to miss some of the England match, but hopefully I'll get it on the iPad. Pots, we're back into Potboy territory. I've passed one that's just over there, and I'm passing one at the minute that's just there. So one thing to look out for with pots is they tend to be laid in a straight line. So if you've got one over there and one over there, you've got to make sure there's not the one in the middle that you've missed and you're about to go over. But yeah, it looks fine. I don't know if I'm shouting or not. I'm listening to a podcast. But yeah, glorious day. There's marked on the chart an area of unsettled water and overfalls off the end of that there, but we're in the last hour of tide now. In another hour I'll be rounding this last headland here, and then the tide's going to start coming in like this and hopefully push me up there. This is all theory. This is a theory of why I set off when I set off. If it comes into practice, I'll be very happy, but you never know. If it doesn't, we'll just be a bit late. But yeah, looking forward to getting the anchor down. Looking forward to watching the match. And then there was something else I was about to say. I'm going to set off at break of day tomorrow, which will be 2 hours before low tide, which means for a couple of hours I'll fight the tide out of Milford Haven and around the corner over here. I'll be heading this way, the tide will be coming this way. But once I get out here in a couple of hours, the tide will be pushing me up and I'll get round up into the Irish Sea. Let's see where the hell I end up. It was originally forecast easterlies, which would have been nice, but it has now changed, and it may be easterlies backing to northerlies and northwesterlies. So set off first thing in the morning. I might just go through the night and just keep going until I get there, basically. But I have a tidal gate at Conway as well, so I need to get there a couple of hours before high tide, or an hour before high tide, or at high tide. I don't want to get there after high tide, because the tide coming out of there will be a nightmare. So that's the plan. We'll see what happens. I'll probably bring this back on when I get into Milford Haven way. You know my glorious plan with the tides? It jumped up and bit me in the backside. It's not bad. I think I could have done with setting off a little bit earlier. The tide's turned a little bit now on me, and I'm doing sort of 3.7, 4 knots, stuff like that. Which will only be until I get past this headland, so I missed it by about half hour or so, which isn't drastic. It's what it is. One thing not to do is to keep trying to sort of throw the engine revs up to try and chase the speed over ground and blow your engine up. You hear people like, oh, it's fighting the tide and revving the bollocks off the engine. Just leave the engine revs the same and just go slower. Why blow your engine up? Because then you are in the shite. I'll get there a bit late. I've got 4G signal. I can watch the England match. Is where it is. Still saying I'll get there around 9 PM, which is daylight. Dusk isn't until about gone 10 o'clock. And I expect in about 30 minutes to start getting the tide in my favour. Interestingly, what I think is, I don't know how well you'll see it. You see this marked area here, Turbot Bank. So what I think this is like, if you imagine the tide, it wants to come up here and also in here and also up there. So you've got this three directions that it wants to go in. So I would imagine that Turbot Bank is caused by the confluence, maybe, of the three different tides going in the three different directions, and just deposited a bank there, sort of thing, because that's the area of low pressure between the three different directions. Maybe that's hydrotopographically. I don't know if that's a word. Maybe that's why that exists. These are the things that you start thinking about when you sat on your boat on your own for, I don't know how many hours it's been. 7 hours. Like nearly all the way through season 1 of The Good Place though, which is good. Beautiful vista off the front. In fact, actually, I'll have a walk up to the bow because I'll take my earphones out, then I don't lose them over the side. We'll have a walk up because I came and stood up here before. I forgot to take the camera. It's a bit special. Oh, aye, aye. So you just stand up here and I just stood up here for about 20 minutes, not doing anything, absolutely nothing. Just stood listening. I'm a pretty lucky human being. Done a lot of hard work and bodging and cutting corners and nearly not making it and all sorts trying to get here, but you know, we're here. If only there was some bloody wind. This is glorious too though. That's the end of the peninsula over there. I'll be swinging a right after that and up into Milford Haven area, Dale I'm going to. Martin, who watches the channel, who I met in Penarth, he's just put a comment on the Facebook group actually saying there's a pontoon in there if you can get on it. I'm like, can't bother getting the fenders out. I hate getting fenders out and putting them back in. I just hate it. So I'd rather like stay on anchor than put the anchor up and actually I don't like putting the anchor down either. I don't know, we'll decide when we get there. Man. Can you imagine if you were crossing the Atlantic or something like that? Like this would be your view all the time. Just the sea off the bow, heading into sunsets. There'd probably be more waves. But there'd also probably be more wind. Pretty glorious. This is grim. Look how terrible the water is. See how it's swirling and angry and this is not somewhere you want to fall in. Once I get through these whirlpools, I should get my speed back. I'm only doing 3 knots, but I'm still moving. I don't know. I don't think I've cocked up. This is the first hour of tide. Imagine what it's like later. Okay, coming into Milford Haven. This is Sheep Island, I think, or something like that. And Dale is basically exactly where I'm pointing, just over there. There are some pots on the entrance and stuff like that. I'm just going to make sure I don't get pushed too close to this land here, although it does drop off straight away, so it's not too bad. See the navigation markers. I'm actually going to split them all. I'm not going to stick to the channels. They're a little bit irrelevant for me anyway. So yeah, we're back up to 4.7 knots, which I would expect. I'm going to drop the camera in the water and have a look at the prop and stuff after I've anchored up and watched the match, which I'm doing now. Yeah, it should be alright. Pretty cool. It's absolutely glass. It's like a mill pond. It's beautiful. I'm going to dodge those pots there. So yeah, we're getting there. Probably the next thing you'll see, if nothing happens, is me anchoring. Yeah. It's all getting a wee bit spicy. The wind's picking up a bit. I'm going to go and put some more road out. There's nothing behind me, there's no point. It's doing no use in the anchor locker, so go and put out another 10-15 meters or whatever. I've got loads of space. Yeah. I don't know. Just a bit of forward thinking because of how much pressure was on that anchor rode when I was letting some more out. I won't be able to pull that back in. And obviously I can't be in the cockpit driving the boat forwards to pull the anchor in because I can't be in two places at once. So what I've done is preemptively brought the rode from the cleat back here to a winch, so then if I start dragging or something happens and I need to get the anchor in, basically what I can do is go up forward, release the rode from that cleat, and then winch in the rode. Well, I'll go give a kick ahead, winch in the rode, give a kick ahead. I can do everything from the cockpit, and that'll get me most of it up. I can winch all the way until I get the chain up to here, and I could actually probably pull the chain from here whilst driving forwards if needs be. It'll leave everything a mess, but at least I'll be out and moving and under control, sort of thing. That's the plan. Whether that'll work or not, I don't know, but we'll see. Hopefully I won't get to test it out, but it may be useful getting the anchor up in normal circumstances, but we'll see. Oh. So I made that video of the grim weather early this morning. It's currently 7 PM. The rain's only just died down and the wind's only just died down. I'm pointed a completely different way, which makes me feel like I'm really close to these boats. But I'm not. I'm probably 50 meters away. It just looks weird because I'm pointing a completely different way. I might take some scope in just because I put absolutely cack loads out. So yeah, my anchor is like 60 meters that way. I might pull in all the rode up to the chain and then lay some more rode down so I can count how much. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I'm glad that's over. The only thing now is I'm beam onto the swell, but it's not bad. I'm very tired. I only slept 4 or 5 hours last night, so I thought, oh, I'll have a sleep today, but then I've been worrying about the anchor dragging, so I've not slept. I've got 2 anchor alarms on, so, but yeah. I'm going to have a walk up forward, make sure the rode is still pointing out the front and not wrapped around my keel, because that'll be another little exciting bit, but yeah. I don't even know whether this is yesterday's video or today's video. I don't know, I'm tired. So tired, in fact, that I just went to bed. Yeah, so that was the trip. It was a nice little trip, and I stayed in Dale for a couple of days. I managed to get ashore. A very nice gentleman came and picked me up, took me ashore for a pint, and then made me tea on his boat, which was great, with his family. Awesome time. Yeah, I think that concludes the video. So next week I set off and turn around. Some of you were watching that on the tracking on Facebook, but yeah, I basically set off, cocked it up, turned around, went back to anchor and went to bed. And left it until some better weather came through, and went a different way. Yeah, so the next one is Dale to Fishguard, and I went through Jack Sound and Ramsey Sound, which was super interesting. So yeah, tune in next week for that one, and see yous later or something. Pow!